This is authentic networking, a collaboration over competition approach to building relationships, building your network, and in a co creative way. Hi, I'm Izzy Nally, and not only do I have an MBA, which means I've done a lot of networking, but I'm also a business owner, and I understand that putting yourself out there, especially when you're new, or even if you've been in it for a while and maybe you have to start from ground zero. Gosh, I've done that as well. But really looking at how are we building our network? I networked for a long time doing it the wrong way because no one never really officially told me how to network. And then the online world happened, and networking has become even more prevalent in the online world. Of course, as you all know, since the pandemic, it forced a lot of us to stay home, and networking events in person became a little more scarce. So today we're going to be talking about specifically how to network online. Now, what we've been talking about so far in this training series is how do we build those deep, meaningful relationships, specifically with people that we want to meet or that we've already met, and building those foundations. So today we pivot a little bit and go, okay, well, we can connect with people that we've worked with in the past. We can connect with people that we know. We can connect with people that are in organizations that we might be in. Hint, that's a great way to meet people as well. Now, as we look forward to this too, we're going to look at LinkedIn specifically, but we'll also look at the other social media platforms and say, how can I meet new people? How can I meet the people that I want to meet in the online world? How can I go from this, stalker potentially and really change myself into a friend, a colleague, and build that relationship first through DMs and then really getting on a Zoom call and having some type of relationship there. And maybe it can lead to meeting in person. There are lots of parallels that are made within the marketing world to building relationships and dating. And so I'm going to lean on some of those parallels today. That first one is being, hey, you wouldn't just walk up to someone and say, will you marry me? And I see this often, and I'm sure you've probably experienced this too, where you get a DM and someone is instantly asking to get on a call so they can give you their pitch, and it feels awkward. And unless it's something that you have been actively searching for, which is not likely the case, uh, that feels a little intrusive. It feels a little bit like someone just said, hey, will you marry me? Because it's like, I don't know anything about you. I don't know anything about your services. I don't know anything, of what you're offering and the quality of that. So first thing not to do is just to cold DM someone and say, hey, I have a product or I have a service for you. Let's get on a call. Instead, we want to warm that up just like if we were in person. Now, some of the nuances are slightly different online, but overall, it's very similar. If you were to walk up and meet someone, you'd say, hi, I'm Izzy. Tell me about you. Like, what brings you here? Right? So, how do we translate that into the online world? Well, thankfully, most of us have profiles. So, you can go to their LinkedIn profile, their Facebook profile, their Instagram profile, any of their profiles, and look at the content that is there. Within authentic networking, research is a must. This is not one of those what we call spray and pray that you're just going to like throw your business cards or throw your information out there and just wait for someone to catch it and go, yeah, okay, let's do it. That's not what we're aiming for. This is authentic relationship building. So you're going to go to their profile, you're going to look at their content, and you're going to say, is this someone I want to know? Hopefully, you clicked on their profile, so it's a possibility. And then go, well, what is this person like? I can find out a lot about this person just by looking at their profile. I can like a couple of their posts, I can comment on a couple of their posts, and I can show engagement, meaning I'm validating what they're doing because people remember us based on how we made them feel, and people always want to feel validated. So I'm going to their content and I'm saying, congratulations. They're going to start to see my name because I'm going to be liking their stuff for a week or two. And I might even send them a DM and say, oh, I really liked your post about this. It reminds me of this. And, just an example, and be like, or keep up the good work, and just give them another compliment. Now, from the social media perspective, this is also helpful because if you are connected in some way, depending on the platform, and you are commenting on their items and you are sending them DMs, the algorithm is going to ensure that more of their content is put in front of you, and if you're connected, that your content is put in front of them. What I love to do is then to create content that speaks to that person, or maybe I'm following 3 or 4 people. And that way, when they go to look at my profile, they're going to resonate with that. Now, I am not pitching to them, but they're going to start to become warmer to the content. Now, does this take a while? It does. It takes a while and it takes some persistence. But what if at the end of the month, you had made, let's say, 10 really solid relationships versus spending all the time to try to connect with 50 people that you're cold DMing, and you get maybe 2 solid relationships off of if you're lucky. We want to connect with people that we can co-create success, meaning, hey, I think if I could help you, you could help me, not in a tit for tat exchange or dangling something over top of someone, but in the thing that you really think that you could collaborate on something. Not necessarily saying, let me just pitch you. So there's different ways that we can approach this. We want to make connections and build a network first and foremost. That person, and building a relationship with them, it would be far better if they were referring you to other people than it would be just to make the sale off of one person. Do you get what I'm saying? It would be far better to make a solid connection with someone who can refer you out. So one connection with this person could give you 10 potential new clients that are going to be a lot warmer than sending all these cold DMs. And here you might be able to refer them to your clients. So how can we start to collaborate versus have competition? One tactic can be hosting a webinar or hosting live interviews, such as podcasts. It can also be hosting a summit where you bring in people within the industry and pull them together to offer some major value to one particular client. Now, all of you have to collaborate in order to make this possible. But when you do that, you're putting yourself in front of a larger audience. And when we are in this collaboration over competition, we're saying, hey, if I have a pool of people who have not worked with me, but they're on my email list, maybe they like what I say, but maybe they'll connect with Jane or John better than they connect with me. And I'm okay with that because my goal is to make sure that the people on my list get what they need. I've had that happen plenty of times, and I have to congratulate the person for taking a step. So I have had people that they followed me and they bought from the people that I did summits with, but they never bought from me. That is having a collaboration over competition mindset, going, they got what they needed, that I just wasn't the right person for them, and that's okay. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and what you have to offer may not resonate with everyone. This allows us on our marketing side to continue to refine and refurbish what we have to say, like, is it landing? Is it landing with people? So there's always time for reevaluation of ourselves, not to judge, not to criticize, but to say in a loving, self-love way, what can I do better or how can I refine this? And say, is it just that person or is it something that I'm doing? Now, networking always allows reflection. And in fact, as we build a solid network, that's the beauty of it, is we have people that we can lean on as mentors and will co-mentor mentee with each other, because a mentor learns from the mentee just as much as the mentee the mentor. Look and see who is currently in your network. If you had to create, let's say, a circle of 12 key people that you refer out to, you don't have to go join a BNI, which those are great. You don't have to join a networking group. Those are also great and can benefit. You can join an organization, but within each one of these, you're going to pick core people, even if you are a member. And so as you pick these core people and say, okay, do I have, and I'm like drawing a circle, do I have a photographer? Maybe I have one or two photographers. Do I have someone that can help in this arena? And thinking about, like, what are these people, these services that you could refer out? How could you go work with that person to say, hey, do we work well together? Would I recommend them? Because what is also not good is just referring people out that you've never really had a connection with and you don't really know how they work. Because if people want a referral from you, it means they like your style. They want to work with people that you also like, that you could work well with as well. So, collaborating on events to say, hey, I have this idea for an event. This is what we do within the WOA network. And say, is there anyone else that can help participate? And we share the burden rather than one person trying to carry it all. And we're able to showcase all of our skill sets. And by that, the people that we worked well with within that event, we go, okay, we want them on the list of future to work with. So how you create your network and how you reach out online. So let's review. We talked about how we can go onto someone's profile. We can look at what is on their profile. Hint, hint, make sure that you have stuff on your profile where someone could get to know you as well. And then you can like their content, comment on their content, share their content, even if it's relevant for your audience. And maybe you even say, like, hey, I'm creating a newsletter next month and I would love if you could contribute something that I could feature you. I think you'd be great for my audience. Having ways to collaborate and thinking of ways to collaborate will help give you reasons to invite someone to something. So you can invite them to an event, you can invite them to collaborate. Having those packets of generosity, or I call them hugs, hugs of generosity that we discussed in lesson 4, of how can I offer something to this person of value? How can I offer generosity rather than ask for something as we start to get started? So thinking about today, who are some people, and you might not know directly who they are, but who are some people, maybe it's an industry or a position that you would like to get to know? Maybe you're like, hey, I really need, I did this a little while back, I really need like maybe 4 solid HR people that I could lean on to ask questions. And I really would like for them to be within a corporate setting that often does bring in trainers to train their employee base. So I would start to reach out to HR people and figure out where they're at and what they're doing. And I would just learn about them. And I may find that I can connect them with someone else in the future. Or maybe I have someone else I can connect them with. I can ask them, like, what are you needing? What do you think is needed in the industry? Rather than saying, hey, I'm creating a training and I want I want to create a training for you and you can hire me, but just to say, I'm collecting information. Start the conversations, because everything happens with conversation. Collaboration cannot happen without a conversation. So we have to get in on the conversation and say, what can we do and what can we do together? Another thing I think is fantastic, we talked about this a little bit last time too, is philanthropy work. Finding other people that are interested in a similar cause as you and saying, like, hey, would you join me on my mission? What is something that you could contribute, whether it be something really small or I looked at your social media and I see you do really well at this. Would you be interested in coming on a virtual event to educate people more about this? Most likely they're going to say yes. And we can start to pull together something beautiful. But unless you get out there and start to talk about what it is that you believe in, talk about a mission, talk about your feeling of purpose, even on your social media, it's going to make it a little more challenging if you don't do that to find the other people who are similarly on that same boat. So check out where you are on social media. Go look at your profile today and say, if someone looked at this, would they know how to collaborate with me? And then make a list of people, industries, roles that you would like to be in contact with. I also recommend making a list of any organizations, groups, societies, whatever it might be, that you are currently in, have been in, or have access to. So, what I typically do is I put on my calendar at least once a month a recurring reminder to go check out what events are happening. And within that reminder, the notes section of the reminder, I have the links to all the websites that have had events listed in the past. And if I come across a new one, I add it to that list so that when that reoccurring reminder comes up each month, the links are there for me so that I don't have to go looking for them. So one might be GLI or NABO or what are we doing? Are there any additional networking? There's the new networking. There might be some BNIs that people have invited me to before. And so I can keep all of those notes there and I can check on those and see if there's any upcoming events. I'll mark my calendar for the month to go to these events because, yes, we do need to be seen. But being online as well, I can say, oh, yeah, okay, I've connected with these people. Let me go say hi. Let me go ask them if they're coming to the next event. So we have access to people online as well as in person. Being sure to follow up with people if you do see them in person. And I recommend, it was a good old strategy that we had from the network marketing days, which is still going on, but from my network marketing days, is having that spreadsheet or a CRM of some sort to say, here's the people, here's their contact information, this is where I met them, this is some information about them or the conversations that we had. It's useful information to have. And guess what? Our doctors and dentists and everyone else does it too, because our minds can only hold so much. All right. So ask your questions as we're here. If you have a scenario where you're like, hey, I'm struggling with this, what should I say? Feel free to put those into the comments so that I can troubleshoot those with you. If you're not yet, I do have a Facebook group. Well, we have the WOE Network Facebook group for our women in Louisville. And then I also have another Facebook group, which is Collaboration Over Competition for anyone, anywhere in the world that you can join as well. If we haven't connected yet, make sure that we're connected on all the social media platforms. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube. So let's make sure that we're connected there as well. I'd love to follow you. So feel free to list your links and then let's connect. If you think there might be a way that we can collaborate, I'm happy to collaborate with you as well. All right. See you later.